Hello, welcome to the first prototype of root velocity. This prototype is solely for the movement mechanics that are still a work in progress, but just keep in mind that every single aspect of this is unconventional and required tons and tons of programming without using any known methods that are super easy to do that have tons and tons of documentation. All of this is very experimental and stuff that I've had to problem solve for many hours. And so it's not perfect yet, but it does improve over time and it will improve over time. Everything in the top left is pretty much all of the core mechanics other than pulling objects, which won't actually be that hard to do. Climbing and walking around is pretty much the entire game. Everything else is sort of just obstacles. So that's what this prototype shows. The main thing that I worked a lot on is the walking and the walk cycle, which is pretty much aesthetical, but what it actually did and why it's important is that it taught me how the rig actually works and how I'm going to actually use the bone structure to actually move the character. So it wasn't just a purely aesthetical thing. It was like a jumping off point to like know how to structure the programming of it, and it took a while to figure out, and it actually informed a lot of future things like the climbing, especially stuff like raycasting the footprints to the floor requires a lot of work. So you can jump and get on top of other platforms. There's also falling. I've actually combined a character controller and a rigid body controller into one character for different use cases. There is subtle details that you probably won't be able to notice in this prototype, but the rigid body will actually stay on for a certain point after your jump or after you fall off of something until the acceleration becomes stable again, which is like a way of like making the character feel like they have more weight, but I actually can show the climbing, which is the most important thing. It's also the newest thing that has been added. If I go up to a wall and I face straight into it, um, I can hold down left or right mouse button to control the different arms. Actually, if I just do it not on a wall, you'll see that Bramble just kind of puts her arms in the air. If I go up to a wall, though, and I push one of them, it'll turn red to signal that I'm on it. And I can use WASD, and it'll actually move the character around. So you can see that you can climb like this. There's a bit of jitteriness to it that I just didn't have time to solve, but I am going to solve for sure, because I do not want it to be so bouncy. It's just something to do with the Unity joint system, or yeah, the fixed joint system. Right, so now I can get up here, and then we can try to actually, you can actually jump into it. I don't know if I'm gonna do this correctly though. Let's see. Oh, well, I can do it there. So I guess just believe me. So yeah, the WASD actually does control like where your other hand will go. And you can only go so far. And you can climb to the side. You can even climb down. It's a little bit harder, but you can climb down. There we go. And I'm at the top. So, and there's of course like gravity and stuff, as I said before. And that's pretty much it. We do have another scene to show. So if I click 2, we have this scene, which is some of the art we've done. This isn't going to be like final art, but it's specifically for prototyping. A lot of this isn't optimized for climbing yet, especially since the climbing is very limited to like very flat surfaces. I might be able to climb this tree, maybe. Let's see. It's also kind of limited to like a certain, yeah, see. So it's got some stuff to go, but you can see the general idea of like what it's supposed to be. It's pretty much you're climbing all by yourself. It's not like Assassin's Creed or um, Zelda where it climbs for you. You have to do it with each of your hands yourself, which is the core gameplay. And the rest of the game will be a lot of just like obstacles and like pushing that to the test. Like how well can you climb with the mouse buttons and move around and stuff. Um, so there's definitely a lot to improve on. This art here, again, it's not fully final, but this desert will be the start of what the only level in the game will be. It'll be a pretty big area, and it'll have a lot of buildings with a lot of like variety on like how you can climb them and stuff. But right now this is just sort of for show, just to show off like what the art might look like. And yeah, that's pretty much it.